When we learned about the heart, we learned a little bit about the circulatory system and the kind of two different circuits associated with the heart. So the heart has a systemic circuit, which sends oxygenated blood to the basically all of the body tissues and organs in order to drop off oxygen and pick up carbon dioxide. That deoxygenated blood, so the one that has more carbon dioxide and less oxygen, then gets returned to the heart on the right side of the heart. That deoxygenated blood then has to be sent to the lungs in order to drop off carbon dioxide and pick up oxygen. So let's trace the flow of blood through the lungs. So first of all, the deoxygenated blood from the systemic circuit comes into the right atrium through the vena cava. From the right atrium, it goes into the right ventricle, and from the right ventricle, it goes out through the pulmonary trunk. Now notice that these structures are all blue, and blue on the picture indicates that this is deoxygenated blood. The pulmonary trunk then branches into the right and left pulmonary arteries. Now, it's a common misconception that all arteries carry oxygenated blood, and that's true for most arteries in the body, but this is one big exception to that rule. So, by definition, an artery is just something that leaves the heart. It's a blood vessel that carries blood away from the heart. And as I mentioned, in most arteries, it's got oxygenated blood, but one exception here are the pulmonary arteries, which carry deoxygenated blood. That deoxygenated blood gets delivered to capillary beds in each lung, and these capillary beds are surrounding those alveoli. At the capillary beds, carbon dioxide diffuses out of the blood and into the alveoli, and oxygen diffuses from the alveoli into the blood. So this is where the gas exchange is happening. The carbon dioxide that was offloaded will be exhaled, whereas the oxygenated blood is then going to be returned to the heart in order to be sent out through the aorta to the systemic circuit. So the oxygenated blood from the pulmonary capillaries goes back to the heart through the pulmonary veins. And this is another kind of exception to the common thought that in most cases veins carry deoxygenated blood. But the true definition of a vein is a blood vessel that sends blood to the heart. So in this example, the pulmonary veins are transporting oxygenated blood to the heart. It drops off that oxygenated blood in the left atrium, which goes into the left ventricle. And from the left ventricle, that oxygenated blood gets sent out through the aorta. And then the aorta branches into arteries that deliver blood to most of the tissues and organs and structures in the body. And then remember back at the very beginning of the PowerPoint, we said that the cells use that oxygen in order to make energy in the form of ATP. And during that process, that the oxygen gets removed from the blood, and then the carbon dioxide goes back into the blood where it gets returned to the heart, so it can then be sent to the lungs to drop off carbon dioxide and pick up oxygen once again.